All right, we are going to start on a new book, the book of Esther. We are moving right along, people. I love this. So I was reading a little commentary, and it says the theme in mind, it says she is unique. This book is unique for two reasons, because God is not mentioned by name once in the entire book. Isn't that interesting? But the heroine is a woman who is part of the harem of a foreign king. And the events of this book took place about 30 years before Nehemiah. So we just finished the book of Nehemiah. So it said it was finished about 30 years before it. Esther probably helped to pave the way for Nehemiah's work. It fits well within the tapestry of the Old Testament, as in so many other Old Testament narratives. God provides the means to preserve his people in the face of severe crisis. It is still read aloud as part of the Purim celebration by Jewish people. So sometimes we're like, how does this make sense? But it does help show how God protected and preserved the people. So chapter 1, the banquet of a king. It was in the days of Xerxes, who reigned over India and Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. In those days when King Ahasuerus sat on the royal throne, which was at the citadel in Susa, in the 3rd year of his reign, he held a banquet for all his officials and his attendants. The army officers of Persia and Media, the nobles and the officials of the provinces were there in his presence, and he displayed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the splendor and majesty for many days, 180 days for all. Look at all my wonderful stuff for over, 6 months? When these days were completed, the king held a banquet for all the people who were present at the citadel in Susa, from the greatest of importance to the least, a 7-day feast in the courtyard of the gardens. There were curtains of fine white and violet linen fastened with cords of fine purple linen to silver rings and marble columns. The couches of gold and silver rested on mosaic floor of marble, mother of pearl, and precious colored stones. Drinks were served in various kinds of golden goblets, not just one kind. Like, think of us when we have our, like, how many homemakers? You try to get a set, right? And then over the years, things get broken. And then after a while, you're like, all right, I need to throw those out and get a whole new set again. But here, the style was various different kinds of goblets, because then it showed all the different kinds you could have, right? And the wine was plentiful in accordance with the generosity of the king. The drinking was carried on in accordance with the law. No one was compelled to drink, for the king had directed each official of his household to comply with each one's wishes. Queen Vashti also held a separate banquet for the women in the palace of King Ahasuerus. I don't know how to say that name. Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus? I have to look these up beforehand. There's just so many. So then Queen Vashti is refusal. It says, on the 7th day, when the king's heart was joyful with wine, in high spirits, he commanded and some of his people and 7 eunuchs who served with him to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing her royal crown, to display her beautiful beauty before the people and the officials, for she was lovely to see. So Vashti, I believe we've read that she's a very beautiful woman, and he just wanted to bring her out to show her beauty to everyone out there. All of this is showing red flags, isn't it? So she refused to come at the king's command, which was delivered to her by the eunuchs. So the king became extremely angry and burned with rage. Then the king spoke to the wise men who understood the times, asking for their advice, for it was the custom of the king to speak before all those who were familiar with the law and legal matters. And there were some close to him. It says who it was. It says, and he said, according to the law, which is to be done with Queen Vashti, because she did not obey the commandments, which was conveyed by the eunuchs. And one of them answered in the presence of the king and the officials, Vashti the queen has not only wronged the king, but also all the officials and all the people who are in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's conduct will become known to all women, causing them to look on their husbands with contempt, disrespect, since they will say, King Ahasuerus commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she did not come. It's going to cause an uproar, all the ladies standing up for themselves. This very day, the ladies of Persia and Media who have heard of the queen's refusal will speak in the same way to all the king's officials, and there will be plenty of contempt and anger. Interesting. If it pleases the king, let a royal command be issued by him, and let it be written in the law of Persians and Medes, so that it cannot be repelled or modified or repealed. And Vashti is no longer to come before the king. Let the king give her royal position to another who is better and more worthy than her. So when the king's great decree is proclaimed, all women will give honor to their husbands, from the great to the insignificant. This statement pleased the king and the officials, and the king did what he proposed. So he sent letters to all the provinces, to each one, saying that every man should be the master and rule in his own home, and that he should speak in the household in the language of his own people. Interesting. This is where women start getting in an uproar. What? We're going to see a whole lot of God's hand in this. So, all right, come back tomorrow. We'll keep reading.